We had a very good long discussion, and Kevin and I met again the following week with Robin to discuss all the reporting requirements of our grant. And I only found out, we thought for some reason we thought that we had to report by December 31st, and I only found out from Robin late last week that we're reporting on the fourth quarter, so there's no report. We don't have to submit anything before January 31st. So we're working on that. We're going to be missing having Henry with us on the committee. He's been a valuable member, and I hope we'll be able to consult with you from time to time.
Sure.
And we are looking to expand the committee. Because Van will not be on it again next year, and it's very important that he has the comprehensive plan. Now, Patty's been part of the history of the whole thing, so we're really hoping, and we have a possible candidate who is a person who is very familiar with the comprehensive plan, because I think that for that committee is particularly important. It's probably important for all of our committees, actually, now that I think of it. And we're looking towards, short range and long-term plans, and we're meeting again early in January.
Good. Thank you very much. You, on reporting on the communications committee, we had an internal meeting last week with Richard Giuliano from the county, and we're working towards getting the emails for department heads and council, and Beth Ann's done some research on website designers, so we'll probably have a meeting, when do you think second week in January to get that website decided on, or to have that information?
Okay, we'll put out a...
Well, I think first thing we need to discuss at the communications meeting would be to bring in Peter Bujano from Kinderhook, who's already gone through the RFP process with their web designers. So that might be something we'd want to consider, is bring him in to talk to us about the process and what he's done.
So maybe you can get a date and then coordinate it with Landry?
Yeah, that would be good. I'm pretty much free second week of January, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. And the road committee, I think that, did you have another meeting?
No.
I read some emails, but.
There was some emails, but I think the meeting should have been held. I don't know how much consulting was done with you. There was a lot of questions on that committee, that road committee, that should have been addressed through Joe. And I think they missed it because you had some concerns about the way that document was last written.
Yeah, but it was revised, and.
What was it
There's
revised?
still concerns.
Right, the revision didn't include Joe, I believe. And
No.
that's where the issue
So
comes in.
it was unfortunate I couldn't make it.
Right. The problem we're having with the road committee is we make these visions, we make these decisions, which are good, but without having a highway superintendent there who knows the laws, knows our roads, knows everything about it, we're really going backwards. We need his input, and any decision we make, unless he's agreeing on it and is giving us positive input, we should not be going forward with it. He's our best resource, and if we're not taking advantage of that, we're making a mistake.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think Joe's was an integral part of the whole committee.
Yeah.
I am too. I'm saying he's very integral, but we left him out a few times. He wasn't able to make it, and decisions were made without his input. And if you discussed it with him and went back and looked, he had some concerns that were not paid attention to. I'm saying we need to go back and pay attention to what Joe was saying.
Joe, it looks like you're next. Before I forget, I put that there because you need two signatures on
Okay.
two of those.
So the first thing on my highway report was correspondence, which there was none. Permits issued, there was a driveway permit issued on Elliott Road and a temporary access permit on Bushmill Road for logging. Updates, the insurance claim for our paver which burned up. We have received payment of $28,000. FEMA, we will be receiving payment probably in March for the snowstorm that happened this past March. Should be an estimate there of $28,908. And on the Albany Turnpike Bridge, which Adele was just speaking about, we did receive our letter and the project's approval to go ahead. We also had a meeting with Department of Justice this past Tuesday. Tom has provided us with the final sketch and approval from DOT's plans. If anybody has any questions over anything, I can probably answer most of it. Most of it's pretty clear cut and dry. There's really not too much
I
there.
think you could do that after the meeting.
How does this change from the prior drawing? Is
It
there
doesn't.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. Now, there's a few minor changes which DOT had requested. The stacking area is a little bit longer. They had us move the light a little bit closer to the bridge.
That's coming from Albany Turnpike?
Yes, this cut that we had originally had the plan to bring us down to a T.
Yeah,
DOT didn't like that. They still wanted that turn in there, coming on and off of 295 down from East Chatham. So they've asked that we put that back in. Our sidewalk, which at the public comment period, someone had mentioned about making a cut through the guardrail up here to allow them to cross, to be able to see anything coming across the bridge. DOT didn't feel that was safe enough to do. They went back to our original plan, continuing the sidewalk all the way down here to the corner. A third light, it's not a third light, but it's an add-on to a side light, which is for Pondorf. In the plan, we originally had it set out here
right.
and had one set back here. DOT said no, they wanted one right here. Since that change has come in, the light's actually going to be over here. So traffic coming out of Pondorf will have first choice to turn green. Albany Turnpike will have second choice. And this side of Albany Turnpike on 295 will always be green.
Right.
Only turns red when someone trips those other two sides.
Now, once this is completed, is it at that point that the town takes ownership of the bridge and the maintenance?
No, technically no.
This is just the intersection.
This is just the intersection change, so it doesn't have really anything to do with the ownership of the bridge or the work that's gonna go on.
But wasn't
Up to
that
it.
supposed to,
That's still another online issue. that's
okay,
To be resolved.
To be resolved. CSX wants us to, they wanted us to take it forever.
From day
And
one.
we've refused to take it until we have certainty as to the cost and then, hopefully contribution.
okay, thanks.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm Jim Donovan, I live on Albany Turnpike.
Hey, Jim.
Hi. So, I understand the traffic light coming will allow traffic off of 295 green all the time,
Mhm.
okay? If the first vehicle to turn in there is a tractor trailer,
Mhm.
there's zero room for a second vehicle. It'll stop in the road. And if that light's, right now, there's a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit on the bridge coming from,
Correct.
okay?
Yeah.
I timed it. It's 33 seconds to cross from
I
the
know, I did it
5-mile-an-hour sign.
myself.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Take that
Yeah.
sign out of there.
Yeah.
15 is probably a fair
Yeah.
speed,
Yeah.
and people can get across the bridge. But I'm wondering how that light's going to know when the bridge is empty. There's a timer on the light.
There is a timer on the light, which, in speaking with our engineers on Tuesday, the contractor's gonna show me how to adjust that. It's gonna be set to DOT standards, whatever that is. This is our first light in the town. But, so, if the delay seems to be too long, if I seem to, I'll keep a close eye on it. If there's a traffic backing up, I can certainly change that light. I can go into the box and I can make the appropriate changes.
So it's a green, yellow, red.
Yeah, and I can only pretty much make the changes by seconds. I can't change it by minutes, but, if I have to cut some seconds off,
Yeah.
that's how that'll.
And this center section here that divides the car, I assume this is one way out.
Yes, this is one way out. Yep.
The way it is today.
This section right here will be ripped, this blacktop right now, which I have a do not enter sign there.
Yeah.
That blacktop will be taken out, that'll be seated in, that'll be grassy area.
Is there a reason why, if I'm allowed to go here, is there a reason why they narrowed this gooseneck coming in off 295 so much? That the guardrail that used to be there used to be the width of the old bridge,
Right,
which is about 4 feet, 5 feet wider than the bridge that's there now
right,
for the drive part.
yeah,
So the stacking area is so much shorter because those two guardrails are squeezed so much farther together. This concrete barrier used to be, the old guardrail used to be almost against that concrete barrier. If you look at it now, it's 3.5 feet into the roadway.
right.
Was there a reason they did that, other than,
Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer why they did that.
I just think it would be a lot smarter to
to
make it as easy as possible for people to get snugged up into there,
Snugged up
because somebody's
into
gonna
it,
end up
yeah.
backing the road.
So it would be a little wider,
Right.
you know? I know.
You can't do anything about the other side, because that's where the sidewalk.
Right.
That's my input on it.
That concrete wall that you're talking about, is that the one that's always been there?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and they reinforced it with some
I-
crushed stone and wire.
I assume, my only assumption can be that that was put in because of the old post office.
Yes.
That it, you know, it may have,
And that's fine, that used to be the barrier, and
Yeah.
then the old guardrail was snug against it.
against that,
Right.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
Google Maps still has that picture,
Yeah.
you can see it, it's there.
Yeah, I have a picture of
Yeah,
that too.
so if we could get back to something closer to that, you gain another 25 feet that you can snug somebody up into there, and the
Mhm.
people coming off the bridge still have room.
Yeah, I don't think, they wanted to snug up people
Yeah.
too close to that, that's what it.
I don't wanna be the guy with my tail end
They-
sitting out on 295.
Yeah, I know, as stacking goes now, if a 73-foot truck, that's why DOT had us move that up farther
Right,
to appease that. A 73-foot truck could pull in there and one car could stack behind it.
and that's what I'm saying.
You know,
Right. If he pulls all the way up,
if he pulls all the way
Yes.
up to that.
which he isn't going to, you know, if you've ever driven a big rig,
Yeah.
you don't pull up to anything.
They're great.
Yeah, you get a lot of room.
Sort of along that line of thinking, what happens on Sunday when New Jersey's going back home after skiing? And
Yeah,
you're stuck turning onto 295 when somebody's going off 295 and there's a line of cars stacked up on a bridge. It just,
Well, technically that shouldn't happen because this is gonna turn green quickly. This is
Yeah, but I'm
only
saying
gonna, they're only gonna trip and allow
well,
one.
let's
or
say
two
there's 3 or
vehicles
4
across.
cars lined up, you know, and he's
Yeah.
sitting at that green.
Yeah,
light.
it's,
You see
they're,
what I'm
it's,
saying?
it's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be some,
You just
at
gotta hope that
times.
sort of stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, at times, I think that this is probably our best alternative to come up with, you know, at times there's gonna be cars stacking out there, without a doubt. You get have your rush hour, it seems to be between, 5 and 6:30 at night is when it seems to.
The Jersey people will be used to it.
Yeah, they are used to it.
Do you have to put signs up that say light up ahead down the road to warn people? Oh, I guess because they're turning off the main road.
Right, it's
To
going
cross
off
the
to 95. I just have to put up single lane bridge signs,
Right.
as part of the recommendation too.
So what's the deadline for filing for the permit and putting all the information together and what's the goal?
Well, our next goal, that will go in the bid package, so that will be up to the contractor. I mean, we have state approval,
Right.
so the state will have no problem with approving the permit, just that the contractor's gotta do it right, they gotta put up their bond,
I wish I could believe that.
$50,000 or whatever it is, and so, that goes all in the bid package. Our next process in this is, we're trying to find some more funds.
Right.
We have 100,000, we need 100,000 more. I spoke with Dean Knox yesterday, we're gonna be heading down to a TAC meeting, probably in January, beginning of February, to approach the county, tell them about our project, and hopefully get, a few more dollars that way. So we are still looking to fundraise and come up with some more money. So we're about $100,000 short, so. So that's really ultimately our next step, along with our engineers putting everything together as far as the bid package and hoping that we can get this out to bid in March. So that's our goal.
And what about the idea of bonding, the difference between what the senator gave and what the total cost is?
That's one thing we're
In the
gonna.
budget.
So,
So the less we could bond, the better off it is.
Yeah, and there's still there's Bridge New York coming out with another release on projects, so we might be able to.
Well, you know,
do something. We're looking.
good.
you can't let me get stale.
No, not at all.
Thank you.
So next thing on my list was Trout Unlimited. I've had 2 meetings with Tracy Brown on 11/21 and 12/11. The first time was, they came out with their map. They basically did a research on 252 culverts in the town, prioritizing what was in need, my needs, their needs, and going forward with that. And we also went out and did a site visit on 10 culverts that day. When she came back on the 11th, we did another 15 culverts. So that study's going along very well. And we're also preparing for the Greenbrook culvert pipe collapse on the Rutland. I've been in the zone of helping her get some of the materials that are needed for that project coming up. And that'll
It's
be,
pretty exciting.
yeah, it is pretty exciting. We'll be
Well, one of the things we
going
also,
out this spring.
in our meeting with Bartlett Judas, was to ask them to start looking for grant money. So,
Yep.
Department of Transportation and
Mhm.
wherever they can.
Yep.
For these culverts.
Yeah, so it's an interesting study. It's gonna help return a lot of our trout water that's been cut off over the years. So it's a good thing. Our Daily Road, County Route 9 intersection, we've been working on that intersection change. I got a meeting on November 10th with Dean Knox. Got their approval for our intersection change, means the triangle is actually the county-owned property. And they're graciously enough to let me go in there and tee that off. It's gonna be a great savings towards the town and just towards people using it. I know a few people have come out and complained, we're always changing everything, but, you got that flying deer project coming in, more traffic coming in, it's just gonna make things a lot safer for everybody. It's gonna make it a lot easier for us for snowplow and snow removal. So that is, in my plans, that's hopefully gonna be completed by July 1st. I'll have that opened up, 2 lanes closed off, and we'll go from there. I have a resolution request. We went out to bid for a used paper. You want to do that
Let's
now?
do that now. Okay, this is resolution 97 of 2017, whereas the current town-owned Lee Boyd Road paper number 78 SN number 2722 LD was totaled by the town's insurance company, NYMER, due to the equipment catching on fire. And whereas the town of Chatham Superintendent of Highways has received a sole bid for one used 2012 Lee Boyd low deck asphalt paver to replace said road paver above the sum of $65,788. And whereas there is unused monies, budgeted in the debt service serial bond principal account DB 9710.6 in the sum of $32,601, and in the debt service serial bond interest account of DB 9710.7 in the sum of $4,534, and in the heavy equipment rate account DB 5110.193 in the sum of $653, and in the insurance recovery revenue in the sum of $28,000. And now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts the sole bid for one used 2012 Lee Boyd low deck asphalt paver SN 8500179334 from Stevenson Equipment Inc., 3 Industry Drive, Waterford, New York 12188, for the sum of $65,788 paid from the following accounts: debt service serial bond principal account DB 9710.6, $32,601, debt service serial bond interest account DB 9710.7, $4,534, heavy equipment rate account DB 5110.193, $653, and the insurance recovery revenue, DB 2680, in the sum of $28,000. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next on our garage maintenance, our oil and water separator has been ordered, our replacement tank. We've also plowed and sanded on December 9th, 10th, 12th, and 14th. And we'll be out there again tomorrow. And dead trees, we removed dead trees on Ford Road, River Road, Rock City Road, and Thomas Road. We completed all the installation of all our snow fence. And we've also done our own culvert pipe study, to where we visited every road and recorded every culvert pipe that crosses the road. Doesn't include culvert pipes for driveways and stuff like that, but we now have an inventory. It's rather huge, and there's a lot of typing to do. There's a lot of culverts out there, I don't even have the total number of them yet, but all the paperwork's in. It took 4 of the guys approximately 2.5 weeks to count all the culverts. So I have a condition list on them and work that needs to be done. And it was something that I've been meaning to get done for a long time. And we had a slow start to the winter, so we were able to get that done this year. And hopefully within the next month or two, I'll be handing you all that whole progress report of each culvert that's in the town that crosses the road from one side to the other. And then someday when we get a chance, we'll go around and start counting the driveway culverts and other conditions. I think that's all I have, other than I didn't really realize that the road committee report was going to be even brought up, but I just wanted to say to the board that some of the questions I have on the road committee are a definition. There's nothing in there to define widening. Nothing in there to define the tree canopy of, okay, how high can I go? There's just things in there that, need to be defined better for me. I didn't realize, that was going to get wrote up that quick and get turned in.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll just postpone it for a month, and hopefully we can get a meeting together.
Yeah, because I'm concerned about some legal issues like the speed bumps that we have that's in there are illegal. And then I'm also concerned about, and some other residents have approached me about, the signs and no-through access and things like that they're paying taxes on to use the roads. They feel that they should have rights to use the roads. Questions were brought up about horses and joggers and bike riders and trying to have a lane set up for them on a dirt road, and how are you going to do that? And you're also going to turn around, and also in the next sentence it says the narrowing of dirt roads instead of the widening. Well, my biggest concern is that every time I go through and clean the ditches on a dirt road, I get complaints from the neighbors that say you're widening the road. And we're really not widening the road, we're just cleaning out the ditches, but at the end of the day, the project, I'll admit, when you drive down it, it does look wider, but now, because the ditches are clean. So I'm concerned that, I'm gonna go through and clean ditches, and then someone's gonna come into you and tell you that I'm widening the roads. And so we need a definition, basically, to clarify.
And should clarify why the ditches need to be cleaned, because without those ditches being cleaned, it's gonna erode more of the roads. We need that road for the water to flow and different things, so it's not working on the road. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Some people forget that if we don't clean up ditches, it just builds up and then it starts working against our roads, so it's important.
That was just some,
And clogs their
some
driveway culverts.
Yeah,
yeah.
it does too.
Yeah, it definitely does, so that's just,
Would you be opposed to giving a quick call to Nan and just telling her? I
absolutely.
mean, go right to the source. I mean,
Yeah.
she's putting this stuff together, she wants to hear it.
Okay,
So,
yeah, no problem.
yeah.
I've never met her, never spoke to her, so, I'd have to get a number from somebody.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you.
Okay, great. And that's all I have. I don't know if there's any other questions. Does anybody the public have any questions for me? Because I'd like to head home. I have to go at
Just sign
3:30.
those two things there, please.
Yeah,
before you go.
absolutely. You know,
Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Moving on to the other report, we have a report from the building department.
How was Jim doing, by the way? Have you heard any more update?
He's healing, I think he got an email this afternoon from him, can't drive yet, but maybe in the next couple of weeks.
I saw Ken, and he was keeping me updated on the jobs we're both working on, and he's letting me know how he's doing that way. Lucky man.
Yeah. We have an assessor's report and the 2018 exemption renewal applications that were mailed out and are being returned. And I noticed that there are some on the table outside, so if anyone in the public needs an application, they can come into the clerk's office. We have the report from the dog control officer. We've got a court report and revenues for November 2017 are up $11,648 from 2016. Supervisor's report submitted and the accountant's report. Let's see. Town clerk?
The KISS program has finished for the year. They anticipate being back again with the barrels in March, so keep an eye on the website. We're going to continue that for another year. Wrapping up 2017 minutes and cleaning house and just getting ready for 2018.
Okay.
I have drafted the Rosado cleaning contract, which is part of the resolutions, and then I can talk about the Cold War Veterans exemption and new business. We're doing
Yeah,
that.
wait to new business.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to just pass that along down, please. About 2 weeks ago, I met with a local bank, and Bank of Greene County, and they proposed an interest rate that far exceeds that which we are presently receiving from the Kinhook Bank. And as you see here from the interest income comparison for July 2017, this is only 1 month, and they use July because it seems to be an average for the year. The interest we would have earned, which is the blue box, is $75.38. And the proposed for the bank would be $704.59. So we're talking about approximately $8,000 or $9,000 of interest. Talked to County, David, both in our finance department. It would be a very big job to change over all the accounts. I also talked to Beth Ann, since she has some tax revenue accounts of the bank also. But the people at the Kinhook Bank, who I went and called, they never got back to me, said they just couldn't match that rate of 0.50%. Right now, we're getting like 0.01% and 0.03% from the Kinhook Bank. So I think it's a significant amount of money to consider, just for convenience sake, leaving our accounts with the Kinhook Bank. Any discussion?
I was informed that through, trying to find an email, that the Kinrock Bank wasn't given the proper information, and that they thought originally the information they gave, they were gonna meet the number we suggested, and then there was more information given, but they were not given the new numbers. So I'm just wondering why we're why we haven't taken the numbers back, but you said you spoke to them and they can't meet that 5.50.
Correct.
And who did you speak with?
George Cooper, Vice President.
You spoke, okay. Because I just wanted to follow up, I was just curious to why the email come through and said that they could make it, but they just weren't given the right information. And you're telling us tonight that you spoke to them and they said they can't meet it. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. His name was, what was it, Deb?
George Cooper.
Okay, I thought it was
I
just,
also spoke to John Valley,
yeah.
President,
Okay.
and Donna Casey.
Okay. Because I don't know. Did you see the email that came from Tammy?
Pardon me?
I believe there's, I'm trying to find it, there's an email that came back from Tammy saying that the Kinder Bank could meet those numbers that we're looking for. And if that's the case, there's really no sense in changing, we could
Yeah, I'm
benefit
just
from
telling
staying
you, Henry,
local.
I'm telling you that he called me yesterday and told me they could not meet that percentage rate, that interest rate.
Okay. I mean, we rely heavily on Tammy, she sent the email, it's
Henry
there.
sent an email today, and that would be the date, the only email I think that she would have sent out. I've talked to other supervisors, they all said, when they made the change, that the customer service was fantastic with the Bank of Greene County, as our accountants said the same thing. Okay, Sally? you wanna
Okay,
go now?
sure, there's a Cold War Veterans Exemption, which is in effect. The county passed county local law number 5 of this year, extending the period, the 10-year period is in the statute, like here, Joe. And they have extended it, and they would like all the towns to be consistent and extend. So this proposed local law will be set up for a public hearing for next month, local law number 1, 2018, to consider the extension identical to what the county did. So that's really all. It would not change any of the actual numbers from the past. It would just continue going forward.
And this town did have.
We already have
in
it.
place,
Yes.
and it's just an extension.
Yeah, basically the statute was 10 years, and after 10 years it could expire. The county elected to continue it and is asking all the towns in the county to do that. So that's the public hearing that would be scheduled in January 18th if the board so decides. But we just use the exact language that the county used and modify it to be the town versus county.
Okay. We received a letter, no, I'm sorry, we didn't. I had a verbal conversation with Avon Kerr, and she was asked to be relieved of her seat on the planning board. She's had some health issues, and we have 2 resolutions, one accepting her resignation and for Beth Ann to advertise. Interesting article came out, it was about 2 weeks ago in the Times-Union with regard to what they're calling the Berkshire Flyer. It's a proposed train that would run during summer months, and with possibly stopping from New York City, Hudson, Chatham to Pittsfield, possibly stopping in Chatham. And so at the same time, within the next few days, had a meeting with the mayor, Tom Curran, and some folks from the village with regard to parking issues. And Dee Dee Barrett happened to be there, Assemblyman Dee Dee Barrett. And this topic of this train became very paramount. She had not known about it. And we started to discuss the possibility of a train station in the village of Chatham. So that's only the first steps. I think we will probably meet again sometime soon and maybe try to meet with the consultants who are putting this proposal, joint proposal between New York State and Massachusetts. So something like that would alleviate the problem of parking in the village and also be a considerable economic impact.
Hey,
Guess I need to turn the sound down.
Okay, old business, local law number 4 of 217, regulating timbering. We're gonna
Well, yeah,
add on,
we need just a delay and for the state.
we'll
And
put that on agenda for next
I would put it on
February.
February. I think we need that extra time.
Mhm.
Really good information tonight.
That was impressive.
And the road report, based on the conversation earlier, we'll put that on hold until January's meeting. We'll give Joe a chance to review that with the planner. Okay, we have some resolutions. Resolution number 175, 2017. Whereas the town of Chatham is required to hold an organizational meeting soon after the new year, and whereas the town board approves the date of Tuesday, January 2, 2017, at 6 p.m. I think an earlier email I had sent out for everybody was at 5, but I have to be down at the county at 3 o'clock. Similar meeting, so I changed that time to 6 p.m. as a special meeting for the organizational meeting. Now therefore be resolved that the Chatham Town Board approves a special meeting to be held Tuesday, January 2 at 6 p.m. for the purpose of the organizational meeting for the town of Chatham. Can I have a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This is resolution with regard to the Humane Society. Resolution 176 of 2017, whereas the town of Chatham contracts with the Columbia Green Humane Society for services provided by the Columbia Green Humane Society. Now therefore be resolved that the town board authorize the supervisor to execute the agreement between the town of Chatham and the Columbia Green Humane Society for the prevention of cruelty to animals for services from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2018, under the terms annexed here too. Motion in a second.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 177 to accept the financial abstract as presented to pay the bills. Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just me, I haven't had a chance to do them, so I can't approve.
Excuse me?
I haven't had a chance to look them over, so I can't approve.
That would be a nay?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Motion carried. Resolution 178, to accept the town accountant's financial report as of November 30, 2017. Motion made by?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution to approve the minutes of the town board meeting of 10/26 and 11/16.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, resolution 180, we will hold. That's the timbering. Resolution 181, whereas the town of Chatham Planning Board member Aidan Kerr has submitted a resignation from the planning board due to medical reasons. And whereas the town of Chatham wishes to accept the resignation of Evan Kerr as a member of the planning board. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board accepts the resignation of Evan Kerr as a member of the planning board with thanks to her for her service. Motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 182, 2017, whereas the town of Chatham is seeking to fill a vacancy on the planning board for the unexpired term of 2015 to 2021, and whereas the town of Chatham wishes to advertise to fill said vacancy by a resident of the town of Chatham, and now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Chatham hereby authorizes the town clerk, Beth Ann Ripple, to advertise to fill the vacancy on the planning board. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, motion 183, we're gonna hold also for the next reading. Resolution 184, whereas the town board of the town of Chatham has received a bid for janitorial services by an independent contractor, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Chatham hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute a janitorial agreement with Rosado Cleaning Service for 2018 under the terms contained in Exhibit A for cleaning at the town hall and the Tracy Memorial Building.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, this is a resolution 185, authorizing public hearing for local law number 1 of 2018, whereas the County of Columbia extended the exemption from the real property taxes for real property owned by veterans who rendered military service to the United States during the Cold War beyond the 10-year period contained in real property law under Local Law 5 of the year 2017, and whereas the town board desires to enact Local Law number 1 of 2018 to provide the exemption for qualifying owners who own qualifying property in the town of Chatham, and whereas a public hearing is required before the enactment of said law. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Chatham hereby directs that a public hearing be held by the town board of the town of Chatham on January 18 at 6 p.m. at the town of Chatham Town Hall to hear all interested parties regarding adoption of a proposed local law entitled Local Law 1 of year 2018 to a local law extending an exemption from real property taxes for real property owned by veterans who rendered military service to the United States during the Cold War to apply to qualifying owners of qualifying real property as long as they remain qualifying owners without regard to the 10-year limitation contained in real property tax law. And therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to publish notice of public hearing in the official newspaper as designated by the town board, and that copies of that said proposed local law are available for review at the town clerk's office. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion 186 of 2017, whereas the town of Chatham Town Board is committed to obtaining the best financial services available, and whereas the town of Chatham supervisor and budget officer have reviewed the practices of several banking institutions in the area, and whereas the town of Chatham Town Board has chosen the Bank of Greene County to establish bank accounts and maintain deposits for municipal purposes, and now therefore be it resolved that the town of Chatham names the Bank of Greene County as the town depository and will establish bank accounts for the purpose of holding funds for future expenses and savings. Motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I did find an email, it came through at 10:34 this morning, from our budget officer. One of her questions is why are we appointing that bank tonight when we normally do that in an organizational meeting? She does state that it would be more difficult to do the switch over, and it is believed to be that Kinbrook Bank will match this rate that we're looking for. So if this is the case, instead of doing this tonight,
I heard it from the vice president.
because of some numbers that were given that were wrong information, is what I'm being told.
No, it was not wrong information. What was the wrong information? It's their interest rate. They could not match the interest rate of 0.50.
Do you have a personal stake in this? Is there any reason we won't take that extra day and wait for the organizational meeting to just do this to make sure we're right before we go
I
away
don't
with a
have to go
local
any further,
community
Henry. I
bank?
told you 3 times now
And
that I spoke to the vice president.
okay, I'm just, I'm gonna make the phone calls tomorrow to double check, but I think you're wrong.
Okay? Any further discussion?
We have 2 responsibilities, 2 main responsibilities as board members. One is public safety for the community. 2 is to be the guardians of the taxpayers' money. The difference, even though this is just a 1 month, if you expand it out, it is almost $7,500.
That's estimated.
Right. There's no way you can get a solid number on that, but just using the information in front of us here, $7,500.
I agree with the
I would
change
look- I
if the
would look-
numbers are right. If the bank is right, I have no problem with switching banks. I don't think that's a bad, I think it's a great idea. I'm just asking, in all fairness, to make sure that we've given the right information to the Kinrook Bank, and if they can match it, we're giving
They
business
have
to a
the
local
information.
community
I don't
bank.
know what you mean by the information. They have the information. They know our bank statements. We sent our bank statements to the Bank of Greene County. They didn't have the information. And the Kinwood Bank has never come to us and said, gee, you're a big depositor with us and you're a good, loyal,
Yes, that happens all the time.
they've never come and
Business.
said to us that, gee, we'd like to increase your interest rate.
Okay, well,
Unless they have to. And that's, when competition is put in front of them, and they've had the opportunity.
no one's gonna give up,